What's up, guys? Welcome back to the Virtual Railroader Academy. As always, I'm Professor Casey.
And I'm Professor Nick, and welcome to Railroaders Play Railroader
Yes,
on this nice sunrise that we have going on.
early morning here on the AM and W, and we have a big day ahead of us. Our most requested topic, by far, I think, it is timetable and train order night, and how to dispatch. The age-old question of how to move trains across a railroad. We have a wonderful guest with us tonight, and I am going to. It is Mike. I'm blanking on your last name. I wrote it down.
Hawk.
I can't find my note right now.
Yes,
It
please
is
welcome.
Mike Hawk. Welcome.
Actually, it's Hauk, but that's okay. Glad to be here. Hopefully, we
Uh,
can all.
We were both wrong. Sorry.
That's
Well,
all right.
there you go.
You can call me anything but late for dinner.
There you go.
Glad to be here. Hopefully, we can all learn something here and inform any viewers of how the basics of timetable and train order operations work.
Yes.
I see 67 is already asking in the chat who took our CTC table.
No, it got uninstalled, so I'm gonna locate my character to a more interesting location for this evening to watch all of the action. Costs. I'm in the game, but I kind of don't have to be for tonight. I've got all of my documentation here. I've got my clearance forms, my Form 31s, my 19s, my dispatcher sheet. And Mike is going to teach me how to dispatch. He has a wonderful HO layout, the Susquehanna and New York, which Nick has gotten to operate on, and I'm insanely jealous. And he runs all timetable and train order operations and is a pro at it and is here to teach me how to do it and teach you guys how to do it.
So, Mike, probably best place to start off is what is timetable and train order operations for those who are only used to modern dispatching techniques?
Well, it's an old way of moving trains in an orderly and safe fashion across a railroad using the clock, a published timetable, which everyone concerned should have in their hands, and paper orders that modify the written or published timetable as far as when trains are supposed to be certain places at what times. This was used in the days before radio communication, so it put a lot of responsibility on the crews, individual crews. They had to read their orders, and if they were between a train order station or depot that had a telegraph or a telephone in later years, they were in the blind. All they had was their timetable authority, or if that was modified by a train order to move over the railroad. So they had to trust everybody else to follow the rules to make sure there was no head-on collisions or rear-end collisions, or if there was trains in their way. It seems primitive to us now with instantaneous radio communication, but this was the way it was done actually up until I think the very last train order railroad might have been on the Long Island Railroad in the early 80s. Don't quote me on that. I'd have to look at my my little clinic that I have on it here. But I've used for a very, very, very long time.
My pokey little short line, the Black River and Western, was using timetable and train order until 2018 when we switched to NORAC.
Okay, there you go. So
we may have been one of the last. There's got to be a couple tourist railroads out there that still use it. I'm a big believer in it's the best way to move trains, but I'm very biased.
Well, from a hobby standpoint, it does drive decision making to the individual operator / players, and I think that makes it more interesting. I've operated on very nice model railroads that have CTC signals and that controlled by a central dispatcher, and it's fun, but the dispatcher's making all the interesting decisions as a operator or a train runner. Basically, you just follow the pretty colored lights around the railroad. So if that's all you want to do is run trains, that's good. But if you really want to get involved in the decision making, you don't get to make a lot of decisions, which is why I like it. It involves everyone. Everybody has to pay attention. make decisions about what's going on.
It's a lot of fun to run by the seat of your pants, and look at your watch and go like, okay, this train's coming in 5 minutes. We got to get clear. This is going on, like, and just to have to like stare to like look at your watch and do the mental math and think about, okay, I have this long to get to here to be clear for this to happen. And gotten to run back a couple of times, and Rule 99 Protect on the big stuff, which is a lot of fun. And we can talk about Rule 99 much later this evening. But it's a grand old time, and I see that someone has joined our voice call, so that can only mean one thing.
This is Extra for 141. Prepare to leave Bryson Yard bound for Larka. What are your orders?
Alrighty, I got the dispatcher sheet up. So you are... on the dispatcher sheet, Mike, this is going to be Extra 141, yes? Since it's a not unscheduled train?
Yes, so he would be... Now, what is... The engine number should be the same as the train number. So it should be engine number 141, usually for consistency.
And
so
then...
I'm sorry, go ahead. So in the space above, this is similar to my train sheet, is I usually put the train number up above. Actually, that's the biggest thing. I see where you have train there. Yes. So anyway, so as long as you can read it and you're used to it. So extra 141 should be in the direction I would put in there. So extra 141 is east or west or south?
It's west. So I'll put a
west,
W and shrink that down so that way that can fit. Okay. All right.
There you go.
Not going to worry about car count and tonnage for this evening.
Okay.
So we got you on there. So then I've got a clearance Form A up here, a Form 31, and a Form 19.
Okay. So the Form 19s can be hooped up. They generally are used for, what's the word I want to use? Less critical orders, shall we say.
Okay.
Whereas a Form 31, the train usually has to stop and sign for them. So those are usually used for more critical orders. So for an extra to give him running authority, I would use a Form 31 because they're going to probably pick that up along with their clearance at their originating terminal.
Okay, so I got my Form 31 open here.
So that would be train order number, wherever we are, number 1, I assume.
We're number 1 for the day, yeah.
For the day. And the date. That'd be
2024.
important if we roll over midnight, from one day to the next.
Yes.
And so that would be 2 Sini, so conductor and engineer.
All right.
Of engine, because it's not a train yet.
Yes.
It's just an engine with a caboose, hopefully. Engine, what was it, 141?
Yes, 141. Okay. And we are at...
Bryson.
All right.
Okay. Now, since this is an originating order that establishes this extra as a train, and a train has a particular definition in the rule book, so it establishes this extra as a train. So the form would be. Look it up in Josser in here. Anyway, the general form would be. Engine 141.
Mm-hmm.
Usually, the train orders were written in all caps. I think
generally. I got the cap box button on.
But actually handwritten. Some of the orders are actually in cursive. the older you get, the more difficult they are to read. I've seen some online that are written in the 1870s, and it's cursive. Wow, how did they even read this? But anyway, so engine run 141, run extra.
All right, and I know where he's going, so I'll fill in this part.
So it would be Bryson to wherever he's going.
Alarka.
Okay. And that's it.
All
basically,
right.
and unless he's a turn, and you could. I mean, there's variations of this form. Now, when I talk about the form, I actually mean the format of how the orders are written. And that's sometimes confusing because there's these forms we deal with, the clearance form or Form 31 or Form 19. The form of an order is actually the format. And there's a standard way that these should be written in the order, basically for clarity, and so everybody understands what
Gotcha.
information is being conveyed.
Well, we'll just get him up to Alarka for now, because there is
Sure.
there's a scheduled train coming down from there that leaves at 8, so we may have to throw up a train order board and stop him at some point. So
Okay.
we'll just get him to there for now.
Okay, and one other little twist before we leave this
Ooh.
page here is to the 2, who gets this. Now, the extra 141 as an extra train is inferior to all other trains, basically, by class. So
Okay.
the other trains don't have to worry about him. If they're first class, second class, or third class, don't have to worry about him. However, the twist is if there's another extra out there, then that extra needs to know that this extra is out there somewhere.
Oh.
Depending on the timetable and where they are, they might need to watch out for them. So if this extra is meeting a different extra in the opposing direction somewhere, then you might want to let that extra know that this extra 141 is out there, and now they need to keep a lookout for them. So that would be the only other train necessarily in general that this would be addressed to.
Well, we don't have that case yet, though.
Okay.
Seeing who joined the call, we may be doing that on the next one.
Okay. So a lot of information, but it's actually once you do it a couple of times, it sort of becomes second nature.
Yeah. So
It's logical.
I see we have a bunch of these boxes down at the bottom, repeated at M, conductor, engineer, train, maid, time, operator. What are we doing with these guys?
Yeah, that would be places for the operator, really. So it would be initialed, by the operator. It was made complete once. So if the operator gives this to the crew, I think this order would be complete.
Okay.
If there's a meet order or something like that, once the meet takes place, then the order is completed.
Gotcha. So that's what this bottom section is for.
Yeah.
All right. So then I gotta talk with the crew and read this off to them, correct? Or is this a handoff type of one?
Well, I think in real life they would have this plus their clearance form. So you would have the clearance form is a receipt that tells the crew, here's the orders you have or should be receiving, to make sure if there's more than one order that they've got them all. So this would be to see any. Now you can direct this to. Basically.
Extra 141.
The engine. Well, it's not a train yet.
Oh.
So you want the engine 141.
At
your
Bryson.
originating station. Yep, Bryson. And
I
then you
have
have one order.
one order.
Train, which is order number one. Yep. And at this time, no messages.
Oh, that's annoying. No messages. It won't let me do a checkbox for clear.
Okay.
Plus I don't know, weird Adobe things, I guess.
And then whoever's writing the clearance form.
Yeah, and I am writing this one.
You, I suppose, so your initials. Yeah.
All right.
Oh, I see. When you filled in order number one, it filled in all the boxes there.
Oh God, why did it do that?
Yeah.
Oh, I think I did a dumb with how I set up this form. Okay, we'll roll
So anyway,
with
so
it.
that way
It's
it might
fine.
be order number 1, 2, 3, and 5.
Yeah.
So that way they know they've got them all when they pick them up. So yeah, so the clearance form acts as a receipt to make sure that the crew knows how many orders they've got and that they've got them all.
Gotcha. So I'm gonna hand this off to the crew. Correct?
Yep, I think that's all they need at this
right.
point in time.
Oh, and I have to make it complete on my end, don't I?
Yeah, probably should.
All right. So
If you're able to, there's.
for repeated, what do I put in front of that? Is that complete?
Yeah, I'm not sure what. I guess that would be usually if you dictate that to an operator somewhere out on the line, they repeat that.
Oh,
back to you.
that's for that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
To make sure, and then there's also another piece of paperwork that I don't mess with, and I don't know a lot of simulated railroads do. It's the dispatcher's book. It's a log book of all the orders that were written and when they're read back, the dispatcher underlines each letter and number in that order as it's written in the book to make sure that the operator has got it correct. And then if it's correct,
Gotcha.
he says that's correct, and then you're good to go. So,
Huh.
so it's another
Cool.
it's another check on to make sure that everything is hunky dory.
Yeah.
All right. Do I need to read this back to you, or are we good to head out?
Do we need to do a readback, Mike, or are we good to?
It's
Is
up to you
141
how,
good to
how
depart?
strict you guys want to play by the quote unquote rules. Or
Well, we've got a
I'm-
little
I'm
bit of
not
a backup of trains, so we'll
Let
go
me-
through how to do a readback later. How does that sound?
Yeah, sounds good.
Sounds good.
All right. Have a good trip, 141.
Thank you. Out.
All right. Who is next in the queue here?
It's a great question that I don't have the answer to.
I guess it would be
Might have
me,
been
considering
Arnold,
I'm in.
Or
Oh yeah.
All right. So who is me?
That would
Man,
be green.
Ninja.
All right.
Yeah.
Hey, Ninja.
Hi.
How you doing?
Doing good.
All right.
What do you need from me?
Yeah, this dick's in my foul.
All right. I'm just gonna put down his departure time as 7:47. I at least know how to fill out one of these sheets. All right. So you're an eastbound train, yes?
Yes.
All right. What's your engine number?
90.
90, and
I'm
you're gonna
going
be.
to save your ass real
X90.
quick here. You are westbound.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Oh, you are westbound.
Yeah, thank you.
West.
West. Oh, east?
All
I
right.
thought you said
90,
east.
and you're extra 90. So that's another Form 31. So this is to C and engine 90, and you're at Dillsboro.
Yes.
All right. So this is I'm gonna cheat and look at the last one I wrote.
That's one way to do it.
Yeah.
Engine 90, run extra Bryson, BRYS. The worst part of my day job is that I use like 3 different keyboard sizes, and it makes typing very hard later in the day,
Need a little voice recognition thing so you can just dictate it.
right? You have order number 2, and I have one order for you. Alright. So, just running this by you, Mike, making sure I did this correctly. I've got a
Okay.
Form 31, train order number 2 to C&E Engine 90 at Dillsboro. Engine 90, run extra Dillsboro to Bryson. And
Let's see. Now, which is the superior direction here on your railroad? Is it east or
westbounds are our superior direction.
westbound? So, extra 90 is going to be west.
They are going to be westbound.
So, and the previous one was also westbound, or they were?
Previous one was
Yeah.
also a westbound.
Okay. I'm trying to think if there's any confliction. No, because if extra 141 west has to stop for any reason, being an extra, they would have to. They should have the flag behind. if They have to
Yes.
stop.
And
They would
90s.
They would try to stay about 10 minutes ahead of
Yeah.
extra 90 west.
And 90s terminating where 141 originated.
Oh, I'm sorry. Okay, yeah, I'm not familiar with your.
No, that's okay.
So there's no conflict.
So there's no conflict. So
Yep.
I'm going to screenshot these then. Bonk. Bonk. There you go, 90.
Alrighty. I will get myself out of the yard.
Have a safe trip. We'll talk to you later.
Yep.
Dispatch, looking at the time, is 6988 going out, or should I jump back up to the scheduled train?
jump back up to your scheduled train. We'll figure something else out with that.
Roger. Waiting for orders on that.
Alrighty, we'll talk to you when you're ready to depart. Confer with Yardmaster on how he wants to deal with the that thing.
Roger.
And I believe that leaves you, Goose.
Yep.
Alright, so this is a question I had, Mike. Goose is you're gonna be running DL2, correct?
Correct.
Now, DL2 we run as a symbol train, but it's not on the timetable. So it's really just an extra.
Yeah. Oh, make sure your columns are corrected. Oh, I'm sorry. Okay.
Yep, I'm hopping over to the next one. It takes a minute for stream to update there.
Yeah, gotcha.
So for Goose, and Goose, you're in I guess we'll start your engine number and there.
142.
142. So 142 is going to be pulling DL2, which is a symboled train, but is not on the timetable. So is that just extra 142? Is that how this works?
Yeah, it should be. As far as I know, yeah. Now, is the... let me back up. What does your timetable say? Does the timetable call that DL, whatever it was, as a train, or is it...
It's a job symbol for crew calling purposes.
Okay, but it's not in the timetable as a scheduled train.
It is not in the timetable as the scheduled train.
Okay, in that case, then it would have to be run as an extra.
Okay, that is what I thought. I've always wanted to know that, because I've always seen, like, you've got, like, NS, they're running CSX, they're running train, they're running, local freight, SL 9 or whatever, and it's always like, well, is that an extra? Is that scheduled? It's, because it calls kind of whenever, really but it...
Yeah, they don't really apply in the modern day.
Yeah.
Because they run whatever, whenever.
All right.
Yeah.
So
you don't really have scheduled trains these days.
Except for Amtrak, which...
Well, except for Amtrak, yes. Or any passenger or commuter service. But I don't think any of the freights technically have a scheduled train. Just symbols that they apply to trains that are going out on the road.
And Goose and 142 here is going to be following extra 90. So is there anything additional we have to do on this form?
I don't think so at this point, unless he would, for some reason, need to overtake one of the other extras. Like if they had work to do or something, then you might give them a run ahead order or give them right over the other extra at this point. But as long as they're kind of all following 10 minutes apart, elephant style down the railroad, I don't think at this point you really need to do much.
And do I need to link him to extra 90s train order?
I don't think so.
Because we were talking earlier about other trains out there to be aware of as an extra. And
right, but they're all these three are all in the same direction, so they're all basically equal in class,
gotcha. So that's
right?
only for like
equal
opposing
in superiority if they're all in the same direction.
Gotcha. Okay.
So I do have a question.
Yes.
If I have to do work on the way at a couple different points, then what would that put anything special in my order? Like switching work at Whittier Sawmill or whatever.
No, that might be delivered in a message. But usually, my understanding is in the timetable and train order era, you come to a town, normally in your train description somewhere in the employee timetable or whatever, somewhere there's paperwork that says what you do, what this train does. And if you're working a particular town, you may not know what you've got to do till you get there and talk to the agent. And he'll say, well, you're going to pull this one out of the grain mill, you're going to pull this one, and these setouts. And now you'll have your waybills on the train, so you know if you have setouts there. but you're not sure what. You might not know what your pickups are until you get there. But that is not a timetable and running order thing. That's sort of separate. What the work you have to do and the cars you have to pick up and set out are separate from the timetable and any orders you may have. Now, the
So
clearance
this is-
form, if there's something they need to pass, like you get a message, say, oh, there's a hot car you got to pick up at such and such a place, that would be delivered as
Oh.
a message. But that has no authority as far as occupying the main track and running. It's not a lack of a better term. It has no effect on the movement of your train. It's just work you have to do someplace else.
So messages are
all-
kind of like a, hey, heads up, this is going on type of thing?
Correct.
Interesting.
So as a follow-up to that, if I'm going from... If I have switching at multiple points along the way, would I only get cleared up to the next point that I'm doing work? Or would I be cleared all the way to final destination?
That is probably it's probably situational. It may be on some railroads you would get clearance to your first place where you're going to do work, and then when you're done, you would be OS'd in, meaning the operator there would say, okay, extra so-and-so's in here at such and such time. Okay, now the dispatcher knows you're off, you should be off the main track and you're doing work. And then when you're ready to go, the operator will call you, or the train will call you if there's a phone box, line side, and say, hey, we're done. Can we get orders or clearance to the next stop? I think normally the timetable should be written such that you have slack time to do that work. And you're inferior to all other trains anyway, so it just depends on how many other extras might be against you, and it would affect the flow of traffic. But it's kind of situational. It's not a good answer for that. So,
Oh no, our favorite saying around here is, it depends.
It
Drink.
depends.
it depends. Yeah, it sort of depends. But your point is valid. Your question is valid, and it could be done that way.
All right.
potentially.
So I'm going to give you an order only to Whittier. There you go. That is for you. Have a good trip.
Alright, bye!
Dispatch.
We have a barrage of trains right now, it seems, Mike.
Well, it's always a scramble. I know that even on my own railroad, we're only, there's only 3 trains on the road, but it's a scramble for the first 15 minutes to get all the running orders. And the
That's,
clearance cards out. Even if they're scheduled trains, there's a lot of quick writing. Normally, in the quote real life, the railroad ran the same trains every day generally, and so a dispatcher who's on his toes would have these orders and clearances written sometimes hours in advance.
Now I see that Chris has joined, who is running a scheduled train. So I am going to give priority to conversing with him and get that moving. So we talked a little bit about this in our pre-meeting. So I just need a clearance form for him, correct?
Correct. If there's no orders that are modifying his schedule by the timetable, then all he needs is a clearance card that says, I have no orders for you. Just proceed according to the timetable.
All right. And so you are, and that's
So
seeing
he would be already an established train by the timetable. So
Yes.
that would be
You
the
are-
C&E number, whatever he
you're
is.
you're 201, correct?
201. Yep.
Okay, so train 201, engine number such and such.
972, right?
972.
Yeah, so ENG 972.
All right. No orders.
And he's a what class train?
First class train.
Okay, and is he? Oh, okay. So he owns the railroad basically.
He
unless
owns the
there's another
railroad.
first class. Yeah. And if he's
Um,
superior by direction, he doesn't have to worry about anything. Everybody has to stay out of his way.
Yes. I'm starting to think ahead a little bit here.
Yeah. See now
We
that's where
sent
the fun part.
yeah, we sent 142 towards Alarka. Which let me get over to the map here.
No, you sent 141 to Alarka.
I sent 141 to Alarka. And they're just coming up to here because we can cheat and look at the map right now and talk about planning. But break the immersion a little bit. And 972 is here. And Nick, according to the timetable, what time is 972 getting to Cochrane?
972 will get to Cochrane at. What's the train number on that?
201. It's the eastbound passenger train.
201. At 8:08. So 7 minutes.
Okay. So thinking ahead, I'm thinking right now we gotta we gotta grab 141 at Alarka Junction and put him in a siding.
Could be, unless he knows that the first class train is out there, which he should by the timetable. So if they're
So
on
we
the
don't need
ball,
to-
they
we
should
don't
be
need to
looking to
tell
see,
him-
okay, who's in my face, and who do I got to worry about, and
So-
where can I get to and duck out of the way if necessary before, basically clear up 5 minutes ahead of the arrival of that particular train.
Oh, gotcha. So knowing the route, he should be looking ahead of where to pull into a siding. We don't have to schedule a meet with him.
Right, because the extra being inferior to everybody, he should have his timetable in hand and say, okay, can we make the next station before the other train is 5 minutes or so before the next train opposing us is due, or basically how far can we get?
See, this is cool. So like it's really on him to like look at
Correct.
the timetable, know where that other guy is, and go like, all right, I gotta duck into the hole here because I'm not gonna make it to here.
Correct.
See, this is cool. This is why I like this stuff.
Dispatch, this is Extra 630 East, looking to depart Bryson for Dillsborough at your discretion.
All right, extra. This is gonna be number 4. So now we have our first opposing train. All right. Come on. So I have our first opposing train going Bryson east towards Dillsborough. So, with this guy, can I give him?
Is
How
he running as an extra, or is he a scheduled?
he is running as an extra.
Okay. And so he's going to be inferior to everybody else.
Yes,
Including the other extras.
including the other extras.
So, he does not know, in theory, the other extras are out there, and the other extras do not know he's out there.
Correct.
So you're gonna have to deconflict those guys somehow. Otherwise, they won't know that they're out there.
All right. What's the best way to do that?
Well, I'm guessing, again,
Let's,
without knowing your railroad really well, I would probably set up a meet.
We'll cheat a little bit and look at the map.
Yeah, there you go. So you can set up a meet.
90's getting close to Whittier, so I think we can set up a meet in. Those are 2 really long trains. We have to stop 90 at Whittier.
Okay.
So, using my knowledge of the railroad to fill in the blanks, I'm gonna give 630 Bryson to Whittier. Do I need to attach any of the other trains orders there?
Actually, ideally, you should get them orders establishing this meet before they get to the meet point.
Okay.
And
So Nick,
just a quick note, Ninja's reminding us that Extra 630 is likely too long for any siding on the railroad besides Whittier.
yeah, that's what I'm thinking as well.
So,
That's
yeah.
where it gets tricky, too.
Now, you were
So
going to say
Nick, can you please ping Ninja and in train orders, and let him know that the a train order signal is up to stop at Whittier,
okay.
and we'll stop him here. We'll stop him there and hand him orders. And so for 6:30, 6:30 run extra Bryson to Whittier straight forward. Can I include another line here of take siding at Whittier, meet extra 90?
Yep.
Or should...
Mhm.
Okay.
So now, once he's established as a train, then he would be, run extra. Yeah, take me. No, I would. Here's how the form should be.
Oh, yeah,
the
yeah.
Format should be. So the format should be extra 630 east.
Okay. Oh, nope, I lost my cursor.
Yeah. So your next line should be. Yep.
We're gonna go shorthand. Okay.
You could say a couple forms of this are appropriate. So you could say extra 630 east meet extra such and such west at Whittier.
Mm-hmm.
And then the next line would be extra 90 hold main track if you want 630 in the hole, or you
Okay.
could say extra 630 take siding and meet extra 9. I think both of those forms or formats of that order are appropriate.
Okay.
Hold main track. Yep, hold main track. There you go.
All right. So this is to Cini. I have one order for you. You are 04. See, this is getting fun and complicated.
Yeah, now it's getting a little exciting.
There's a lot of forward thinking.
And so you're going to be giving that order to me to hoop up to him, correct?
I'm going to be giving this order to Squiggy.
Oh, this is Squiggy's initial order. Gotcha.
Now, one more thing. I'm sorry.
Oh,
Here
yes.
is you can also send this order to the extra he's meeting.
Oh. So...
So now you want C&E extra. Let me see. It's small on my screen. C&E extra 90 west
at Whittier.
at Whittier.
Okay.
So now the operator at Whittier hasn't. Actually, no. You want to get that to him before he gets to Whittier, ideally.
He is coming into Whittier already.
Okay.
We put up the semaphore. We put up the train order semaphores to let him know he has to stop and pick up orders.
Okay, so he's got to pick up orders. Okay, good. So yeah, so this way you can address it to both of them, and he knows extra 90 west knows there's something happening, so he has to stop and.
All right, so I'll give this to extra 90, and then Nick.
Yep.
Do you have your copy to hand up to 90?
I do, yeah.
All right. So
no, extra 90 would
630,
also
that's
need
for
a-
you. And then Nick, you'll write the clearance cart. Nick needs to write it since he's the operator out there.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, that sounds done.
All right.
Okay, so, and I think what probably is going to make the most sense, partially for my education too, is if you bring up that clearance card on your window, Casey, and just emulate what I am doing.
leave it. I will leave it up for you.
Okay.
Right there.
Let me get that window open.
Real quick.
Understood.
Yes.
Extra 142 is currently sitting at Wilmot. I've got a couple of cars to switch here, I just realized, so I'll be occupying the main and working here for a couple minutes. I've already got fusees down.
All right. Copy that. 142 stops Wilmot. We'll talk to you soon. Actually, we don't need to talk to you. We'll hear from you when you stop in Whittier.
Cool.
Okay, so
Understood. Extra 630 east, proceeding eastbound at a Bryson.
Yep.
Okay.
Have a good trip. 6:30.
So to CNE extra 141 west.
No, you're going to 90 west.
Oh, okay, 90 west. All right, yeah. Extra 90 west at Whittier. I have one order, and this is going to be order 4.
Okay.
And no messages. So, get that for you. And block is clear, correct?
Yes, but at least on my end. Sorry, hang on. I'm fighting a cat. My cat climbed onto my keyboard. She does this. Block is clear, but I couldn't get the check mark on my end. I think
Oh,
something
well,
was
mine
broken.
it's checking both clear and occupied.
Yeah, something broke, I think.
Okay. Well, all right. So, that. Okay. Right, and that is going into trade orders.
I see there's a question or two in the chat. I don't know.
Yeah, well,
should I try to verbally answer those while we're at it, or I
Yeah.
don't want to step
Yeah,
on you
well,
guys though if you're trying to communicate.
we'll let Nick get his communication off, and then we'll answer those questions.
Yep, they've got their they've got the clearance form A taken care of.
All right.
Alrighty.
All right. So that was Cochrane at.
And they don't need a form 31.
No, they do. They get the same one that we sent to Squiggy.
Okay.
So I
yep.
guess
So it's just this. Yep. So ping
Yeah.
for both. Okay. All right. So yes, Mike, feel free to take away on the Q&A.
Yes. So there were a couple Q&A questions. Whichever ones you saw, please pick them out and answer them while I fill out my my dispatcher sheet.
Let's see here. So I see MKIIB458 has a question. The question is, if you aren't at Whittier to hand the engineer the orders, you telegraph, or in this area, telephone the orders to the relevant person. Correct. The dispatcher would contact the local operator at Whittier. He would tell him, 31, or a copy 131 east or west, whatever train is getting that. The operator also keeps a logbook of the orders he receives. The local operator copies the order, fills out the clearance card, and then if it's a Form 31, the crew comes into the tower or the depot, signs for them, and gets them. If it's a Form 19 and the train is going to keep moving, the operator stands outside and would use a hoop to get the orders up to both the head end and rear end crew. So the engineer, fireman, head end brakeman would get one copy of the orders, and then the conductor and the flagman would also get a copy, so that the entire crew has the same orders. Because they cannot communicate with each other when the train is in motion, obviously, in the simulated era. So the operators could be a busy guy. He's got copy the orders, and he's also got to make enough copies for the entire crew. And if there's a helper engine, now he's got to make 3 copies of the orders. And so he could be a busy guy for a period of time on a busy railroad. I hope that answers your question.
Wow.
That makes sense. But
Yeah.
it's interesting to think about how everybody would have to be on the same page without that lack of communication between the front and the tail, or between helpers and crew.
I forgot about helpers as like a thing that needed to get have orders sent for. I hadn't thought of that. Like of course they need to know what's going on.
And then the question of what era of timetable and train order operations are we attempting to emulate?
Well, I think any time after, telephony took over from telegraphy, I suppose. So anywhere from the mid 20s up into the 70s, actually, depending on the railroad.
Well, there you have it. It's 1970 on the AM and W, everyone.
Yeah, there you go.
Canon event. We're still running Steam.
The conductor could send a vague message to the head end from the rear. Usually there was an air valve in the caboose, so with an air gauge. So he could grab that and take off, 10 or 15 pounds of air, and the train would slow, and the engineer would see that, and he was, might think, okay, what the hell's going on? The conductor's trying to. There's something going on with the rear end. What is it? So.
Been there, done that. Have the Girl Scout badge.
There you go.
And I see we have another person who has joined our call. Hello, Bupkis.
Howdy. Apologies for my tardiness.
Yes, are you still taking the not so fast freight?
I am taking the not so fast freight.
Welcome. Well, I guess this is a big one we can talk about. Our second class freight train here, Hotshot Fast Freight on the railroad, is departing about a half hour late. How do we navigate this?
Okay, probably the easiest way, but it's probably the most. It's cumbersome and easy at the same time. If he's a half hour late by the timetable, you can write an order, but everybody has to get it. All the scheduled trains that he might meet and all the extras have to get this order. That train number, what is it?
It is the ADFF.
Okay. Train number ADFF, since there is no numbers. Train number ADFF, engine number 2946, run 30 minutes late from where he originates to where he would terminate.
Okay.
And everybody has to get that order.
All right. Oof.
Otherwise, everybody has to sit. If they're thinking they're going to meet that train, everybody has to find a place, and they're going to cool their heels for an extra half hour until that train comes by. If he's a superior train to them.
Okay, so I have a lot of writing to do then.
If there's a train superior, I'm sorry. If how does that work? Yeah, if he's superior to those trains, they all have to wait. If there's a train that is inferior to him, still has to wait. Unless there's a hard meet in the timetable, they gotta wait. 12 hours. They have to wait until he shows up. They have 12 hours to wait until he shows up.
Okay.
Before his authorization per the timetable expires.
All right. So.
Well, and it's actually going to be more like, I would just call it 45 minutes because he's set to depart Silva at 8:36 or 7:36.
No, 7:36. Yeah.
So, and it's going to be more like 8:21.
Like
8. If you call it 8:21, that's 45 minutes down. Keeps your math easy too.
That's true. Yeah, you want to give yourself a cushion to get everything written and distributed. Plus, you got to tell all the operators wherever these trains are going to be to pull the order board down so they can all know that he's running a half hour late.
And you're going to want to get him moving first, and then probably relay it to 6:30 because 6:30 is moving, and then 90 because 90 stopped.
You can write all this on one order if you've got space, so it could be to.
Oh, that's true.
The main train it's getting it, and then it's C&E extra such and such C&E extra such and such C&E
6:30
extra such and such at all the various stations where you anticipate they could get this ordered.
Wait, would this be a 19 or a 31 though?
Can I hoop this up?
That's a good question, Nick. I don't have a good answer for that. I think as long as it's not at the spot where they're meeting, I think you could hoop it up as a 19.
Let's hoop it up to everyone as a 19.
All right. So
21 minutes. So train ADFF run 21 minutes late.
From station to station, so you have to specify where he's. So it'd be Silva to whatever.
Oh, we don't know if 142 has left Wilmot yet, do we?
Right. So you could pull the order board there to stop. So if he sees that, he knows he can't leave until he's contacted somebody.
let's see. Who are we stopping at Wilmot?
Goose. And if the agent there says he's already left, we'll stop him at East Whittier.
Okay, I'll get Goose.
All right. Oh, and just saw in chat 142 is leaving Wilmot 820. Oh, and they're stopping him. Okay. So, do I need a clearance form with a Form 19?
Yeah. Anytime any train gets any orders, they should get a clearance form.
Okay.
Technically. Yeah. To make sure they've got them all.
Extra 630 East, passing Ayla, 821.
821 Ayla. Oops.
Okay, I've got the operator at East Whittier's stopping make that 142. That's going to be Whittier,
Whittier?
not Belmont, or East Whittier. And then I'll get them the.
All right. Bonk. Now I'm going to do the clearance form.
And then you only cleared 632 Whittier, correct? Yeah. So they're gonna have.
Yeah. So they're gonna get new
They're
orders.
gonna have to wait anyway. Yep.
Yeah.
Okay. So we're good on that front. And then.
Yep, because the next siding that can hold them is Barker's. So, I think holding them at Whittier is going to be best move.
Okay.
All right. There you go. There you go, Bupkis. Those are your orders. You got your timetable and your clearance form A. Have a safe trip.
Thank you. Quick request before you get on to much else. Can I have operator status so I can actually move the train?
Have you not been on this save ever?
Nope.
Are you Dollar Store Thor?
I am Dollar Store Thor.
Congratulations on your promotion to Train Master.
Thank you. Alright, here we go.
And try and make up time.
Will do.
Extra 141 has arrived at Orca.
141 has arrived at Alarka. We'll talk to you when you're ready to leave.
All right.
Train 201 to dispatch arrived at Bryson.
Hello, 201. Oh, I have to give you. Oh no. So 201 has is a first class train, so they have right over ADFF. But there was a hard meet coded in the timetable. How should we be working this?
If there's a hard meet per the timetable, the 201 meets the is it the ADFF?
Mm-hmm.
He's got to fulfill that, so he has to wait till ADFF shows up.
Can I cancel that hard meet and plan a new one?
Well, you could write an order to establish the meet someplace else, and get that to them.
All right. Let's look at where that. Let's look at where that hard meet is. You think you can make it to Barker's in 20 minutes? Or not Barker's, what used to be Bumgardner? What is that called now?
Thomas Valley.
Yeah,
And how long? I'm sorry.
like 20 minutes.
I'm supposed to be there in 15, so probably yeah.
All right. We're gonna put the semaphore up at Ella for you, since the meet should have been in Whittier. So
I'm
expect some
still
orders
on-
there.
Okay, I'm still on schedule. Looking to get out of here at 8:30.
Sweet. 201. Alright, I got another one for you, Nick. We're gonna have to hoop up orders at Wilmot to the ADFF.
Okay. Who's the crew on that?
ADFF is going to be Bupkis, but we've been calling him Blue Flag in here.
Okay, gotcha.
Train 201. So now this is, how do I rate this guy?
So you're changing the meeting point?
I'm changing the meeting point.
Okay. Who's the inferior train? ADFF, right?
ADFF is the inferior
Okay.
train.
So, ADFF, meet 201 at wherever you want them to meet. Instead of, I guess you could put that. I think that's okay as far as the format.
And ADFF takes siding.
That's fine. Yep.
And 28.
Yeah, so they should both know that if they had a hard meet with each other in the timetable, now the timetable's been modified by this order. So.
Yeah. Alright, so I'm going to... so the order board is up for 201 at Ella. So when they get to Ella, I will hand that off along with their clearance card.
Okay, so you want to change that in your order though, right? It should in your order. It should say at 201 at Ella instead of Bryson up above.
Right, yes, thank you. New to this. Trying to put it all together in my head.
Yeah, once you've done it a couple times, it becomes second nature. But there are a lot of little small moving parts.
Extra 630 East is in the hole at Whittier at 829.
6:30 in the hole, Whittier. I take it your meat is fulfilled?
Yes.
Yeah, he's good to roll.
Alright, so I gotta write a new form for you. Alright, and Nick, as the operator, you're gonna hand that off to ADFF at Wilmot, right?
Yep, so I'll give him the Form A.
Alright. 201 ENG 972 at Ella. One orders number 5. Let's already start filling that out. Good.
Wait, isn't that one mine to give?
No, I was doing it to Chris. You're taking care of
Oh, I'm taking care of. Yeah. Okay. ADFF. Yeah. What's his number?
ADFF is 2946.
6. Okay.
All right, and 6:30 is calling. Yes, 6:30.
Yes, I'm in the hole at Whittier and looking to continue east at your discretion.
We're gonna keep you in the hole at Whittier. We're gonna keep holding you for another train. Do I need to write an order for that, or can that be a verbal thing and I just not give him orders to leave?
So what's the other train he's being held for? Is it a timetable train?
It is.
Okay. Is it the one that's running late?
It is.
Okay, so you could, so he knows he's got to meet that train somewhere.
Mm-hmm.
He doesn't know, in theory, that he is running late. That train is running late. So if there's time, you could write an order that the extra meets the scheduled train at a different place, if there's time.
I don't have a siding long enough except for there.
Okay.
The
In that
next
case-
available long siding is too far down the road. It's like another 10 miles away.
Okay.
But I do need to get 90 moving, so I'm gonna get extra 90 moving first, and then we'll
Okay.
come back to the 6:30 problem.
Yeah, if he's an extra, he's gonna sit. That's just the nature of being an extra.
All
Because if
right,
he's a scheduled, you
so
wouldn't have to define all these things. So yeah, that makes sense.
well, do I need to give extra 90 an order? Because they already gave him an order to Bryson, and he's looking at a scheduled train coming at him, so he's got to know he's got to duck out of the way soon here.
Well, he needs an order to Bryson though.
No, I already gave him an order to Bryson.
Oh, then yeah, then he just then he'll just need to be mindful of the schedule because he already knows about the delay.
Well, no, he's the delay's behind him.
Oh, right. So then, yeah, he doesn't even have to worry about that.
So
then,
we
yeah,
we don't need to give him something. 90 can just keep going and duck in at Ella.
Alright, and that looks like
although
where
it
we go.
looks, based on what I'm seeing there, 90's probably better off sitting where he's at.
I can't have 90 sit there.
Well, at this point,
90's got to go.
but 90 isn't going.
90 should have left a while ago once the meet was fulfilled.
Oh, I wasn't sure. My bad.
No, you had orders to Bryson.
Yeah.
So we're now in a little bit of a traffic jam.
Yeah.
So 90, you get going, and
Working on
then I guess I gotta get orders out to 201 at Ella to back up to clear for 90. Yes, and stab the train.
Yeah, you need to stop. Yeah, you've got to
Mike,
stop.
is that correct?
I'm trying to picture that in my head. Can you run that by me one more time?
So yeah, let me pull up the map here. 90 was slow leaving Whittier here. This guy can't move because there's no siding long enough. So I've got to put 90 in the hole at Ella, which means I've got to stop 972 before they pull. Which means I got to stop 972 here and have a meet happen.
Okay.
Let me let. Oh yeah, so 972, who is already in this channel, your train order board is up at Ayla.
Still. So I need to write a new train order.
Okay. Now are they both extras or?
No, 972 is train 201. It's scheduled first class train.
Okay. Then you're gonna probably have to stab him at Ella until he meets the other train.
All right. I guess that's going to be a Form 31 because you got to stop.
Yeah.
Scene engine. Train 201. Engine 972 at Ella. Do I need to address it to 90 as well?
Yeah, you might as well, unless there's another train order station.
There's not, and 90's already left Whittier.
Okay, so yeah, you're gonna have to hold him at Ella.
All right.
Looks like.
God, this gets complicated fast.
If the board is down and if the stop board is down in both directions, they got to stop. So the first class train, that engineer and conductor, we kind of ticked, but oh well, they'll get over it.
So I can just say train 201 hold main for X90.
I would say train 201 meet extra 90 west at Ella. By definition, 201 being a first class train would hold the main track. You wouldn't have to specify that unless you really wanted to make it clear.
Okay. Hold main.
201 arrived at Ella Station.
Hello, 201. There's one order for you already. And I'm about to hand up the next one for you.
Let me get the clearance Form A for that.
Okay, I am still blocking the main, and I hear a train.
That's why I tried putting the fusee down
you are going to
there.
want to go put a fusee down ahead of you. Wow, this gets complicated in a hurry.
Yeah. Yeah, you can see that if everybody's on time, that's the other thing with timetable and trainer. You don't want too many extras out there because they can sort of be the cork in the bottle.
Yeah.
But if everybody's on time, you don't have much to do. But if things start to get bollocksed up, then they can snowball in a hurry. And I always kid that a dispatcher writing a lot of orders is a dispatcher in trouble. So.
Yeah. Well, this dispatcher is in a lot of trouble right now.
So some of that is you've got your timetable set up, but it's not really optimized probably for timetable and train order operations because you can see it's a lot slower. You can only handle so many trains in a section of track with this form of dispatching.
All right, and CCR2 is typing in chat requesting permission onto the main.
Train 201 in the clear.
201 in the clear.
What do you need me to do, Casey?
Can you talk to CCR2? Since he's at the phone booth, let him know. Stand by. I've got to get 2 trains by him, and then we'll get him orders out.
Okay. Is that Hostler? Yeah,
that is Hostler.
That's always Hostler.
That's always Hostler. He loves that job.
2946 has reached the phone booth in Wilmette.
Hello, 2946 at Wilmette.
Told to wait here for orders, so that I do.
All right. Where are you? I need this. There you go. Tag Jenna thing. All right.
Thank you.
So
90's arriving at Ayla at 8:40.
90, 840 Ayla. Okay, so we've got a little bit of breathing room right now, as things are happening.
Okay.
Do you have an order for the train at Wilmot?
I did. They popped in while you were off being station agent elsewhere, so I
Okay.
graciously
You
took
got
care
him
of
going?
it. I got
Alright.
them going.
Yep, I see that now.
So we have a little bit of breathing room. Cause 201 has a meet with 632 scheduled. We got that scheduled. 90's coming in, so we have some time to take a deep breath.
Yeah, so now you can, like I said, take a deep breath, look back, kind
Whew.
of, take the 30,000 foot view of the situation and think, okay, where's the next, bottleneck? Has everybody got orders to get around everybody, and is anything going to cause trouble in the next, 30 minutes to an hour?
So yeah, I think we got a little bit of breathing room. The next thing is 40, but I gotta get 972 by.
972 departing. Ella, 2 minutes down.
Ella, 2 minutes down. Good luck. I gotta get 2946 by. And then Hostler 40 here. CCR2 is superior by direction over 632. So going to continually stab the big train at the big siding. Poor Squiggy. And keep things moving. So that's my next move. Once the ADFF gets by, Nick is station agent Whittier at Whittier. I'll relay the orders to you, and you can hand them over to 40 and get them going. That'll be our next thing.
For CCR2, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. But he's coming in after the.
Yeah, after our two timetable trains.
Okay, gotcha.
So, looping back around to some things that we're on our list of things to talk about. Now, you threw around this thing, forms versus forms earlier when we were writing our first train order. What is that?
So that was the one thing that really confused me when I was trying to learn about timetable and train orders. They talked about, the clearance form and form 31 and form 19. And then they also talked about, form, look in the book here, like form SA and form F and form G and what are those? Well, form L and form K and form DH. That was one thing that wasn't made clear is there's paper forms, and they, that's the clearance form A, the train order form 31, train order form 19. Those are paper forms. The form of train orders is also, it should be, to our ear in the modern age, should be format of train orders, how you write them, so that everybody's clear on what's supposed to take place. And that confused me for a long time until I figured out, oh, okay, one is a form, a paper form, the other one should be a format of how it's written. So simple, but if you don't know and have anybody explain it to you, it's kind of confusing. So for example, looking at Jocelyn here, so a form A annuls a schedule or section, and the form or format, it should be that, is, for an example, second 15 due to leave E at February 19th has arrived at E with no signals and is annulled, E to Z. So a kind of a complex, down in the weeds format of a specific form K train order to annul a particular train. So hopefully that clears that up. There's paper forms, and then there's the format of the orders as written.
Huh. So, and you keep mentioning this crazy Josserand guy.
Oh.
And
yeah.
I'm teeing you up because this is actually one of my favorite books. So, and it is if you are a part of the AM&W book club, the VRA book club, this is I'm teeing you up to introduce one of my favorite books here.
Okay. So Peter Josserand, looking inside the cover of the issue I have here. Peter Josserand was Night Chief Dispatcher, Western Pacific Railroad, Sacramento, California. He was a rules consultant, Brotherhood of Locomotive Firemen and Engineers. He wrote a book called The Rights of Trains, and this was basically the Bible of timetable and train order rules and regulations before the Uniform Code of Regulations came out. And other individual railroads had different rules. They modified what was in Josserand to suit their own particular situation. But Josserand is the basic Bible of timetable and train order. There are a number of editions out. I've got the let's see, the fifth edition, which was 1957. First edition was in 1904. So this was in publication in various editions for a long time. And you can pick Josserand up occasionally on eBay or use booksellers, that sort of stuff.
Yeah, it occasionally pops up on Amazon.
Okay, there you go.
Which it's one of my favorite books. It's kind of the core of what the standard code rule book is. So if
Yes,
you hear people talking about
the standard operating
codes,
rules were derived from Josserand.
Yeah, and I talk about it a lot on the VRA Discord. But it is I have a version of that posted up where everyone can see. It's my favorite version because it's the Erie Railroad, and everyone knows I'm a sucker for the Erie. And it's also available for free online and an easy to read website. So that's also my favorite. So if you want to read the standard code rulebook, it's up on the VRA, and I'll be sure to link it in the video description at the end of all of this. But yeah, definitely check it out. Buy the book. It's a great one. Highly recommend if you're a rules interested person.
I see there's a question in the chat here. 6777 Productions asks, were there other forms that filled in these number gaps between 19 and 31? I don't believe so, as far as I know. And I don't know where that 19 and 31 came from. I assume that goes back to pre-1900 in the midst of time somewhere.
Yeah, you know what? I'm curious. I'm gonna do some poking around at that. I'm curious. Icer the Blue Lion, thanks for resubbing for another 11 months. Happy almost a year being here. And Aro Aquatic, thanks for the 100 bits. Good to see you, friend. And you're a nerd too. Don't let anyone tell you otherwise.
If you are here, yes, you absolutely have renewed your nerd license.
He's a nerd who has yet to fire for me at work.
Ah.
So it's even nerdier.
So on the stream, where are we looking out the window at? What station?
So I am here in the Bryson. It's a crossing tower actually.
Okay.
For manual crossings, but it just gives you a nice good view of the yard and kind of all the action going on. So I figured it'd be a good place to park my body in the world tonight.
Yeah, it's kind of cool. I wish I had little cameras in some of the depots in my layout that they could kind of see what was happening.
Like a virtual railfan camera.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Well,
I mean,
and you could, because I on mine it's sort of the dispatcher, but then I put on my operator hat to carry the orders to the guys because it's not big enough to have an operator position. So I just walk into the other room. But it'd be cool to have a camera to see what's happening at Wheelerville or one of the other towns.
Oh, that's a good layout idea. Hot tips if you're building a model railroad out there. Put little cameras inside your stations for when you're dispatching your railroad.
Yes. Yeah, and you should talk a little bit about the Susquehanna in New York, Mike, because that is a railroad I'd never heard of until I learned about your layout.
Well, okay, if we have time. So
we have 972 has yet to make their meet at Thomas Valley. So that means 2946 hasn't gone west yet, which means 40 can't move and 632 can't move. So we're just kind of watching and waiting for the next thing to happen.
Okay.
Now, so
if
we
they're
have
stuck,
time.
If those trains are stuck and are waiting for a train and he's late or something, you could always give them right over that train between two certain stations if you want them to move. If you want to advance them against that train's time.
Yeah, there's not much I can do on that yet.
Okay, cool.
So I'm because I've got the super long train stuck, and without being able to move them. With them only being able to meet there, I can't do anything else.
I see. So that was the kind of the cork in the bottle.
Yeah, that's the cork in the bottle. So we've got a little bit of time. I'm gonna start prepping my next train order though. In the meantime,
There you go. That's
while
That's a good
you
idea.
talk about what Nick has told me is one of the coolest layouts he's ever operated on.
appreciate
story.
it. Nick's very, very kind. Yeah, so the Susquehanna, New York, the real one was this obscure short line in north central Pennsylvania above Williamsport, north of Williamsport, if anyone knows what that is. It was a wholly owned subsidiary of the U.S. Leather Company, originally chartered to haul hemlock bark out of the woods to tanneries in various places along the line. There was also the wood chemical industry was big at that time. This was talking about 1905, I think, was when the railroad was completed. So it was fairly late as far as railroads go. But it had trackage rights from Newberry, PA, which is west of Williamsport, on the Pennsylvania Railroad Elmira branch, up the Lycoming Creek Valley, to a place called Marsh Hill, where they got on their own track, ran up the Pleasant Stream Valley to the top of the mountains, and then down the Schrader Creek Valley to a town called Towanda on the north branch of the Susquehanna River. So it ran basically from the west branch of the Susquehanna River at Newberry up over the mountains to the north branch of the Susquehanna River at Towanda. They interchanged with the New York Central, the Erie, Reading, and the Pennsy at Newberry. They interchanged with the Pennsy at Marsh Hill, and they interchanged with the Lehigh Valley at the other end in Towanda. So as the tan bark and the lumber played out, it became a common carrier. There were a lot of little communities up through the Pleasant Stream and Schrader Creek valleys, which are ghost towns now. And it was a manageable railroad to build, I thought, for one guy. And so I started getting information. We had a hunting camp up there, and just started researching it. When eBay became a thing, I started buying photos and timetables and stuff. It was amazing how much paper actually existed from this railroad. And then it just got out of hand from there. So I have a website, www.snyrr.com. In case anybody wants to check it out, we've got photos on there, some stuff about the model room.
And I will link that in the video afterwards when it goes up on YouTube tomorrow. And I will also be putting or not tomorrow, when this goes up on next week, Friday. When this goes up on Friday, I'll be putting I'll be putting that link in the video description. It will also be on the VRA Discord in the Important Things chat, because it's a pretty good website. I've checked it out a few times, and I just find it very interesting, and I learned some cool things on there. So you all should check it out too.
Yeah, I don't update it as much as I used to. I got busy with our NMRA division, so I got to do the newsletter for that and some other things. So, and I'm kind of out of good prototype stuff to put up there. I put copies of most of the really good photos online, so that's dried up a little bit. But,
you know, Mike, Casey's favorite, or at least one of her favorite books, is Set Up Running.
oh, okay. Well, that is. Yeah,
I
That
thought you
is-
were going to say the CFR.
No, that's not a book. That's a document.
No,
But
that's nighttime reading so you can fall asleep.
What do you?
But
It
yes.
is very engaging.
But
No,
yes,
Set Up
Set Up-
Running's like one of my favorite books, and it's how I got introduced to the SNNY.
okay.
And talking about the switchback, they ran with the Shay up the side of the mountain in Ralston.
Oh yeah.
That was kind of my first introduction to the railroad and checking it out and poking around at what it was, and it's a cool little railroad.
Yeah, one of my regular operators, Jerry Jordak, he calls it the coolest little railroad you've never heard of. So
Yes.
he's a Penn Central diesel guy, but he likes to come here and play with little steam engines.
And
Everybody seems to have a good time.
And shockingly, one of the steam locomotives from that railroad survives.
Yes, it does. At the Jimmy Rogers Museum down in Meridian,
Mississippi.
Meridian,
yes.
Mississippi. Yeah.
We have Casey and I have a mutual friend, Lucy Dormont, who's
Okay.
now with
Yeah.
NMRA. So
Yeah.
she used to be the executive director for the Meridian Railroad Museum. I forget their specific name. But she loved that engine. She loved the 116.
But she got in touch with me through Facebook and through the website. She saw the website. She said, "Do you have any photos of this engine in service?" I said, "Yes, I do." So I sent her a couple of copies, and I actually ran into Lucy at Springfield, at the Springfield show.
Oh.
So we had a nice chat. I was glad to finally meet her in person, and she's quite an energetic person. She is.
Oh, yes, she is.
She is lightning in a bottle. That young lady.
I wish I knew you were at Springfield, Nick. You should have introduced me.
I didn't know that he was. I didn't know you were at Springfield. Otherwise, I would have said hello to you.
I came up with Chris Costello and JL Innovative, his people. So.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
Love the small world connections, but I'm looking at the map here and cheating for the sake of my own sanity. Not that you'd be able to do
you've
this.
got the ADFF is nearing Whittier.
Yes. So shall we get our orders to what were the last orders we gave to 142 actually?
Stop at Whittier.
Yes. So
Or East Whittier, sorry.
Yeah.
Which is...
So shall we get 40 going ahead of 142? Since 40 has no work and it's just going straight to Bryson.
Yep. I can take care of the clearance A on that.
All right, and you'll have to write the 31 for them as well.
Oh, you want me to do both? Okay, sure.
Yeah, can you do both?
So just to make sure, so it's 40, and they're going to Bryson.
Yep.
Okay. I can do both.
Also, Bub, I don't know if you gave me the 2 bits.
I did give you the 2 bits.
That's what I thought I heard, but...
You did.
And my number is what? 7?
We're on to 8.
Why is it always 7?
Dispatch, this is Extra 630 East.
Hi, 630.
For clarification, am I clear to proceed?
You are.
Is that a
That's,
Whittier West?
Yep, your order gives you permission to run Whittier to Dillsboro as an extra. After you meet the ADFF at Whittier, you were holding the siding.
Understood. ADFF is clear, proceeding eastbound out of Whittier.
And I'll let you get 40 going first, and then we'll get 142 moving next. Do you need the main or the siding at Whittier proper 142?
Whittier proper. Let me see if I have any pickups. I do have pickups, so
Okay.
I'll probably need the siding.
All right, cool. Oh well, I don't have a CTC board. You control that yourself.
And 40 doesn't have any meats, right?
40 will not have any meats.
Okay. Then I'll just get them the straight order.
Yeah, they're pretty much going to be
I'm
chasing the
also gonna
markers
have-
of 2946.
Okay.
I also have pickups at Ella,
Okay,
which will be my last pickups before Bryson.
cool. All right, this is an exciting railroad. All right, so while Nick's writing that order, gonna keep there were some terms thrown around earlier that I want to circle back to and get covered.
Yes. I just want to ask, did you see any of the switching going on at East Whittier?
No, I've been watching
It was
Rudy
so
kick
dumb.
cars here at Dillsboro the entire time.
It was incredibly dumb and incredibly funny. I saw by myself like 3 times.
Amazing.
Nice.
Model Railroad's great. I love them. I love operating on them. But it's the dumb stuff in the video game like that you can't do on a model railroad.
It's dumb stuff in the video game like that, and it's also so much cheaper to do in a video game.
That it is. All right. Mike, there were a couple more terms thrown around that we talked about when we were writing those first couple of orders that I want to just circle back to.
Okay.
We talked about main track, regular train, extra train, superior train, and in the clear.
Okay. We can take those in order, I guess. So main track is, like it says, it's the main track. It's where the trains run. There's main track and then everything else. So if you're given authority to occupy the main track, that gives you authority to basically, run on the main from place to place. So the timetable, the orders, the clock, all that basically controls movement on the main track. Everything else is it doesn't speak to any other track other than the main track. So it's just a definition. So, but the clearances and the timetable give you authority to occupy the main track as a train. If that makes sense, I guess. But it doesn't care about sidings. It doesn't care about spurs. It doesn't care about yard tracks. It's just the main track of travel. So a yard, and that's defined by yard limits. Usually there's a sign where yard limits run out or defines the yard. So the yard is governed by movement of a train through the yard. I think it's Rule 93. So basically, trains working a yard can occupy the main track, but must clear the time of a first-class train or potentially second-class train if the railroad defines it as such. But usually it's a first-class train must clear the main track through the yard 5 minutes ahead of an oncoming first-class train. Other than that, a switch engine or yard job or yard grill, whatever you want to call it, can occupy the main track while it's working a yard, a defined yard. And any train other than a first-class train, when it enters yard limits, which are defined, that train must enter at restricted speed, be prepared to stop, in half the sight distance of another train or cars sitting potentially on the main track, or switches against them, that kind of thing. So now generally, a yard job wants to keep the main track clear, but if they need that to make a move, they can occupy the main track as long as they clear up for first-class trains. And a yard is defined by the yard limit signs.
Which I was flying around to try and find in the game, because I remember them being there, but I can't find them right now. They're not there.
And I think they're also defined they can also be defined in the timetable.
Yeah, I have mine written down in the timetable. Now, there a couple more people joined the voice call, so let's whoever is the first person in here to try and reach the dispatcher, who's trying to get a hold of us.
I was waiting for any orders out of Whittier.
Nope, you don't have any orders out of Whittier.
Okay. Then I shall sit.
Because your scheduled train, just keep running out on your schedule and try and make up time.
Oh, okay. Now we make up time.
I guess I'm here on behalf of Rudy.
Hi.
Too much train, not enough yard.
Would you like to take train out of yard for him?
Yes, what training needs to be done?
Do you want to take the QJ at home out of town? I have now switched hats. I'm no longer the dispatcher. I'm the train master right now.
Okay, I can go get the QJ at home.
I can get paperwork made up for that. Which way is that headed?
That's going to be a westbound to Alarka Junction. And now normally everyone at home's probably like, but Casey, the AM&W runs all the way to Andrews. Yes, it does. Because I didn't want to dispatch 60 miles tonight trying to learn how to do it for the first time, I took everything west of Alarka Junction, some 35 miles of railroad, out of service as yard limits. So that's what I like to call a big brain move.
So I take it just disconnect these Andrews interchange cars since I'm not going there.
No, you are.
I'm taking these cars?
Yeah, no, you are going to Andrews.
Okay.
But As far as the railroad is concerned, you're only going to Alarka Junction, and then you're in yard limits for the rest of the time. So you can just
Oh.
kind of do whatever you want and communicate with anyone else out there on that end of the railroad.
This is 972 to dispatch.
Hello, 972.
Whoever left Dillsborough Yard, please normal your switches. We almost had mass casualties.
That is the important thing. Make sure you normal up behind you.
I believe Bub was the last one out of Dills.
Puppy. Alright.
He's not in this chat.
No, he's not.
Yeah, he's
Hostler, I see you're in here now. You saw your train order.
Yep, I just got that a little while ago from Nick.
Cool. Alright, does anyone else have anything for the dispatcher before we dive back into some more questions?
142 would like to move from East Whittier to Whittier proper and occupy the yard for a bit.
You need an order from East Whittier to Whittier?
Did we? I thought I gave you
don't
the straight to
know.
Whittier proper. Let me
Did you
flip back in.
Whittier
Let me
proper?
flip back in my book. Yep, nope. I gave you to Whittier proper.
Oh, I got a clearance form just to East Whittier, so okay.
I think that was a notification.
All right. Well, going to Whittier.
Have fun.
Bye bye.
Alrighty. God damn. That's gonna be a local and a half. Alright,
As they
so
frequently are.
Mike, I believe we left off at regular train, extra train, and superior train.
Okay. So a regular train is a scheduled train in the timetable. Assuming all other things are equal, he just needs a clearance to occupy the main track and then run as a regular or scheduled train for the timetable.
And that
An extra
clearance is what we did earlier, where it was the clearance form A, and it's you. I have no orders for you. Just go.
Correct. Correct. You have no orders that are going to modify the or supersede the what the scheduled times are in the timetable. An extra train is a train that's running by train order authority on the main track and is not in a timetable. So other trains don't know that train is out there, but an extra train is inferior to all other trains except other extras, possibly by direction, if that makes sense.
Yeah, because you can have an extra that's inferior to an extra that's coming at it because it's going the less important direction.
Correct. Correct.
So yeah, I'm learning
super-
stuff
it's-
tonight.
So a superior train has right over, and that's also a term, has right over an inferior train by either class, direction, or I think by order. There's three ways a train can gain superiority. I think it was by class, by direction, and I think by order, train order. Obviously, the inferior train has to stay out of the way of the superior train. And then in the clear just means that the inferior train is in a siding off the main track with switches lined and locked for the main track. Usually it's can vary by individual railroad, by 5 minutes before that train is due at that location. If that makes sense.
Extra 630 East, passing Wilmont at 909. Also, wishing to make a general announcement. When departing the hole at Bum Ranch, please normal your switches behind them.
Bupkis. I'm gonna call him out. Normal your switches, Bupkis. Hopefully you're watching. Everyone, normal your switch behind you when you leave somewhere or arrive somewhere. Close it up, please. It makes everyone else happy. All right.
One other thing I should mention, and
yes.
I did at the beginning that occurred to me that's very, very important. We didn't talk about it. Is the times in the timetable is a train can arrive early at a station, but it can never leave early.
Mm-hmm.
Because all the other trains that are dependent on that timetable know that that train is stuck there till it's published leaving time. The times in the timetable are usually the time it leaves the station, not when it arrives. So you can arrive early, but never leave early.
Yeah, and unless it says otherwise, it's always a departure time. But yes, that's that is a good one. And then there's another funky thing we were talking about earlier when we had that second class train that was 21 minutes late, and you mentioned something about other trains need a hold for 12 hours.
Oh yeah, we did talk about that. So the times of a regular train that's in the timetable are good for 12 hours after that time. So if number 2 is supposed to leave Alpha at 1 p.m. Unless there's an order changing that, a train planning to meet that train at that station at 1 p.m. and the train doesn't show up, they have to wait 12 hours for that train to show up until its timetable authority expires. So the timetable authority is good for 12 hours after that published time.
Well, thank God we didn't make anyone wait 12 hours today.
Yeah. Exactly.
And
That's what the dispatcher's for. Hopefully nobody's waiting 12 hours for it to expire.
Hello, 972.
We have arrived at our final destination on time. What is the continuing orders for this train?
Okay, so I guess you're unloaded and we store that train in Dillsboro. So I have to give you a train order to Dillsboro since you're no longer a scheduled train.
I can take care of that.
You're now an extra. So I guess Nick will do a Form 31. Since he stopped, and we'll just have him sign.
Yep.
And I'm explaining to the class now as well as we're talking about this. So for me, Dillsboro yard limit starts here at the switch and ends there at Cowie Switch. So we just have to get him to Dillsboro proper, and then that's a yard limit, and he can just shove on into whatever track he's going to use. So, and Mike, please correct me if I'm wrong. We're going to give him, it's going to be to train order number 9, are we up to, Nick?
10.
It's going to be, holy crap, it's going to be train order number 10 to C&E engine 972 at Silva. Engine 972 run extra, Silva to Dillsboro. And then that's it.
And then clearance A.
And then a clearance A. Though we're about to have an accident here.
I was going to say, that guy's hauling the mail.
Yep.
Uh-oh. Jump for it, Clem. Oh, no.
Where are we having an accident today?
The ADFF just crashed into our extra that we were trying to get out ahead of him.
So,
Hey.
we had an oopsie.
Yeah, no, I watched.
Okay.
Well, that's on us, Nick, cause we should have held that guy until the ADFF passed through. Whoops.
Yes.
Yeah, I thought we were going to get through the evening without killing anybody, but oh well.
Well,
can't
hey,
have
you know
an
what?
omelet without
Well,
breaking a
to
couple
be
eggs.
fair, there is 0 damage to the end of that train.
and there is
A lot of damage to the.
a
the
lot of
engine.
damage to yours. So well,
Hey, what just happened to Bryson? I think I heard an earth-shattering kaboom from Whittier.
The
Silver just saw a nuke cloud go off. What's going on?
the trainee dispatcher's messed up.
Yeah.
Oh, sure, blame the trainee.
I'm the trainee.
And as of I,
Blame the trainee.
we're blaming ourselves.
The trainee's messed up
Engine-
here.
Engine 632 and 630 on extra 630 felt a disturbance in the rails.
Is everyone coming up here to bring this up? Okay. So, yeah, I guess you're running behind that thing, Bupkus.
Okay. Can I get some spit polish?
Yeah, send out the mobile repair team.
Yes. Thank you.
I'm doing my part. No, that's mobile infantry.
Good news though
the-
is that
the
I've
part-
written up the paperwork for the 201 to do their reverse. Well, what was the 201 to do their reverse move to Dilk
Yes,
Road? if they're
yes.
trying to
So Bupkus, you're going to be running. Look at your watch and then depart 2 minutes past Bryson yard limit 2 minutes from now.
Roger. 2 minutes from now, past Bryson Yard.
Well, that was exciting, folks. Is it an obsession if you don't have some kind of mishap?
No, it's not.
Yes.
somebody
go ahead,
was
Nick.
earlier asking about in the chat was asking about the availability of these forums.
I have to clean them up because I found a couple of broken things with them. But I will make them available on the VRA Discord. Links going to be down. I'm pointing like I have a video camera on and you guys can see me. Link's going to be in the description of this video when it goes up on the YouTubes. But join the VRA Discord. They will be there in the... what do I call that channel? I think we just call it important things. Yeah, they will be buried in important links for you to peruse and use for yourself. I can do a version without the AM&W logo for everyone, so that way you can just have blank versions for yourself. But I will definitely put this up in there for you all to enjoy and try it out. Gameplay question 677 wanted to know about this interface. Yes, it's a mod. It's super handy and helpful. You can do stuff like this and like that, and repair and cheat money in and all that jazz. What?
I feel like you remember that mobile game, like where you were the god of a little island and you could just abuse the people on it.
Yes.
That's what I felt like I was. I was just like being abused by a malevolent god.
Yeah, it happens.
Does anybody need something to do? The crew caller is looking for somebody to take BR3 if there is somebody available for that.
I don't know if there is anyone available for that.
Okay, that's fine too.
You can have him tie on power at least, and once we have someone available, we can send that. My God, that's a big train. Nick, shortly we're gonna have orders for 40 to go back to
Oh, to go back east. Gotcha.
yes.
Yep, I can draft those up.
But we and then can you also let the yardmaster know to make that train up? And there's some log cars stored in the side yard there.
I
for
will
him.
chop.
Thank
them
you.
and let them know.
All right. It says we're doing the management part of running the railroad right now. Bonk, bonk, bonk. Oh, wrong button. So I am gonna hit save. Okay. Thank you for bearing with me, Mike, as we run through the logistics part of running a railroad.
No problem.
You sent me this awesome PowerPoint that you use when you are introducing people to your layout and your ops. And it's a wonderful PowerPoint with a lot of the stuff we've talked about in it as kind of like a primer to introduce everyone. But you had a really good you had a really good you had a lot of really good things in there. It's 2 pages of notes for me here. Some of my favorite things is the "What do you need to know" series of slides of Timetable and Train Order. And was hoping you could kind of delve into that series of slides. And while he's pulling it up, yes, Icer, that's a long Andrews cut. It's getting 2 decapods, and then it's probably going to get Jeep 9's helpers going up the big grade. I'm waiting for a Mikado to be in the game to start doing these big trains with, but until then, we have what we have.
Okay, I got that slide pulled up. If you got
all right, yeah,
gap.
let's hop into it.
I can start blabbing here. So, what do you need to know if you're new to Timetable Trainer, or if you're an operator somewhere on a virtual, I guess, or real model railroad? What do you need to know to get started? So, the first thing is, what is the relative superiority of my train? My first class train, second class, third class, because that then affects what trains I got to watch out for because of my superiority. So the main thing is, the next question you want to ask, okay, is who's in my face? Who's coming at me by the timetable that I have to watch out for? And then you ask yourself, do I outrank them or not by superiority? And if I do outrank them, then they need to get out of my way. If they outrank me, then I need to get out of their way and need to start thinking about how I'm going to do that. The next question is, okay, who's on my tail? Who's coming up behind me? Again, because if I am inferior to a scheduled train coming up behind me, I need to get out of his way. Again, do I outrank them or not? Also, a critical thing is, what time is it? Because time is critical. Do I have time to do what I want to do here? Do I have to get out of the way? Am I overtaking another train on his time? Because you don't want to be doing something that the term is on some other train's time. You don't want to be on his time. And the next question is, if you're traveling, is can I make the next station with 2 minutes to spare if I have to clear a superior train that is either on my tail or in my face? So basically 5 questions. What's my superiority? Who's in my face? Who's on my tail? What time is it? Because that orients me to the timetable and what is happening.
Mm-hmm.
And can I get to the next station with time to spare if I need to? So it's pretty simple, really. Then there's nuances and that sort of thing. But the main thing is, who do I have to stay out of the way of, and who has to stay out of my way?
That's a really simple way of putting it, and there was a lot of complexity of all of that this evening, of just trying to balance all of that, and I think it's important for your operators when you're doing this to kind of really internalize that concept of because it's weird, you get a piece of paper and you're like, this is my authority to move, and you have to really be like, okay, no, this thing that it says I am waiting for has passed. I can just go. I don't need to wait for a light. I don't need to wait for permission. This piece of paper is my permission.
Correct.
So it's kind of a weird thing to internalize as the engine crew and be like, okay, yeah, no, I just go.
Right.
There's no secondary confirmation
scary,
of a radio call. It is. And the situation we had with Extra 90 of it was you have a meet, and it was you got to continue after that meet. It was a hey, you're doing this here, and then you're continuing.
Right.
So
the
that's
question.
Yes. Answer.
Question for our resident experts here. So Extra 40 with Engine 40 ran from East Whittier to Bryson, and now they are going so westbound. Now they're going as an eastbound. So when I'm making out the new order, I'm going to make it out to Engine 40, and then on the Form 31, I'm going to make it out to CNE and Engine 40, and then within the body, within the format, say run as extra 40 east, correct?
Yeah, actually, I don't think you actually have to state that. You just say engine 40 run extra such and such to such and such.
Okay, gotcha.
And then that establishes them as a train. Any order to them after that order then would be addressed to extra 40 east or west.
But I am making it out to engine 40.
Correct, because at that point, it's not a train yet. It's not an authorized train. It's just the engine and a bunch of cars and a caboose. That order basically magically turns it into a train, which is extra 40 west. Yeah, that makes
And I
sense.
think the pop quiz for the class, what is a train? We'll give it a couple minutes and see what y'all come up with and discuss the answer. And while
While
we're
the Jeopardy theme is playing,
what is playing?
while the Jeopardy theme is playing,
Uh-huh.
or chat, Extra 142 was done at Whittier looking for track to Ella for
All
a
right.
little bit of switching.
Nick, what train order number are you up to?
I'm on 11 right now.
All right, so I'm going to be 12. Cine engine, because they've already been established as an extra at Whittier. Nick, you want to get a little bit fancy with this?
Is this going to change what I'm doing for CCR2?
Yeah, because we got to get CCR2 and we got to get 142 to meet. And I think just
Okay.
doing that at Ella would be easier.
Okay. Sure. So, who's the other train being included on this?
142.
Okay, so that extra one
At Whittier.
At Whittier.
So we got to give them we got to give them to the siding at Ella.
So just directing both to Ayla and then giving them new orders there.
Well, we can give 40 permission through Ayla, right, to Whittier. And be like, stop, wait for this train, and then proceed. Is that correct, Mike?
Oh, I'm sorry. I had my nose in Jocelyn. Can you repeat that for me for a second?
So, we're trying to get we have a train leaving Bryson and a train leaving Whittier. They're 7 miles
Okay.
away. And there's a
Okay.
spot in the middle we can meet them. 142
Okay.
already has to stop there and do switching,
Okay.
since they're the local, and 40 has to pass them. So we can give them both permission to and through Ella after having their meet, correct?
Correct. So
Okay.
basically, it would be they're opposing trains, right? Or is
They
it
are
overtaking?
opposing trains, yes.
Opposing trains. So it would be you would write it to C&E extra. Let's see, 142, and then C&E whatever the other train is. Ideally, you want to get those orders to them before they meet at this station, Ella. But if not, you could have them meet at Ella just for simplicity. And it would be, extra 142 meet the other train, whatever its designation is, at that station, Ella. And the inferior train should take the siding. But if you need to change that, you can change that depending if there's work to be done. That kind of stuff.
Yeah, so we do have to change it because 142 has work to do there, which is a track with it, which is an industry off the siding.
Okay.
So, it would be, and I'm reading this off as you type it, Nick, because I'm trying to understand it myself. It'd be to C&E extra 142 at Whittier, C&E extra 40 at Bryson,
Well, engine 40 technically.
engine 40 at Bryson.
Well, you would establish the extra first, and then the
Okay.
extra train would get the order.
Okay. So it'd be to C&E extra or engine 40 at Bryson, C&E extra 142 at Whittier, Engine 40 run extra, Bryson to East Whittier.
Yep. Extra
X142 hold siding Ella for arrival of extra 40.
Well, does 142 already have clearance further to go west past Whittier?
No,
Or
we only
they-
gave them gave them clearance to Whittier.
So it has to be extra 142 run Whittier to Bryson.
Yes.
And then we give them their hold instructions. So
Yes.
how I'm writing it out is engine 40 run extra Bryson to East Whittier. Extra 40 hold at Aloft for extra 142 on the main.
Yeah, so
Extra
the form of that would
140.
be would meet. They would meet.
Okay. Hold it for so extra 40 hold at Aloft for meet with extra.
No, it'd just be extra 40 meet, extra 141 at
Okay.
Ella.
Yeah.
And do we and meet at Aloft on main?
In this case, you want to switch them, right? So
Yeah, you want to switch them because 142 should hold the main by superiority. So you need to say 142 hold siding.
or
Yeah.
take siding. Yeah.
Okay.
And while you're doing that one, 141 is calling us at Alarka, so I'm going to get theirs going.
This is 141.
Hello, 141.
So we're made up in Alarka Yard and looking to head to Bryson.
All right, getting you your order, getting you your 31 now.
Okay, so my final version of this reads engine 40 run extra Bryson to East Whittier. Extra 40 meet extra 142 at Ayla on main. Extra 142 run Whittier to Bryson. Extra 142 meet extra 40 at Ayla take siding.
Yeah, the term would be hold main track,
Okay.
and then for the other order it would be take siding and meet.
Okay.
This gets. You can do some very cool stuff like this. I'm. In the Form D world, this would be so much harder and so much more paperwork. Surprisingly, with how much we're writing, even tonight.
Well, again, you got it's compressed, even though it's virtual. It's a compressed railroad,
Yeah.
so you don't have as much luxury of time, given the number of trains you're trying to run. And like I said, if when dispatcher comes on duty, there might be already orders and clearances written hours in advance for trains that are scheduled to run. So you just have to look it over, see, okay, is there any changes to this, and then basically just get them out to the.
Yeah,
train.
I can definitely see how it's helpful to prep some stuff ahead of time.
Right, because
And,
you
you
get
know,
get things rolling, get that off your plate, and say, okay, now I can sit back and see, okay, what's happening here? Do I need to make any modifications to what's already happening?
Dispatch. This is extra 630 East. I am in the yard at Dillsboro.
All right,
Fine
you
now.
are off the railroad.
Yep.
All right. Now, I think these are some of our. We're actually past our normal end time. So I've got a couple of more things here on the order on the list of things from the wonderful PowerPoint. You gave an example, and I think it's kind of been exemplified tonight by how much forward thinking ended up having to be doing. It's really like playing like a board game, like playing like Chutes and Ladders. of figuring out who to move to where to when and how and what, and it's very much like moving chess pieces on a board right now.
Yeah, it is.
It's a fun little game, and there were a couple more books to recommend. So for the book club, Mike.
Let's see. Let me pull up my PowerPoint. I forget the exact name of this book. It has an unusual title. Where's my PowerPoint? Here it is. Resources. Here we go. So the OpSig put out a book a couple years ago, 19 East Copy 3. And it's basically a distillation of the rules in Josserand in a simpler format for model railroaders. And it was written by Dave Sprout and Steve King. Steve King, I know, is a former, I want to say B&O or C&O dispatcher. I think Dave Sprout also was a real railroader in the Timetable and Train Order days. So these guys know what they're talking about. Steve King wrote a column in the OpSig magazine for a long time talking about train orders, the different formats of train orders, how they should be written. And I think some of those articles were compiled together in this book. I think if you join, this book is out of print, it's very hard to find now. But if you join the OpSig, I think you can get a PDF for this for free now. I think.
Yeah, I think there's floating around out there somewhere on the internet.
Yeah, so that's a
you
useful
can get a
book
copy of.
If you don't want to dig up a copy of Josserand, this 19 East Copy 3 is an excellent distillation of that.
Wonderful book. Highly recommend if you're interested in running your op sessions, model or virtual like this.
Yep. OpSig also put out a larger book, a companion of model railroad operations. There's a chapter in there on timetable and train order, but there's other chapters with more modern, warrants, track warrants, and that kind of stuff. So that's also an excellent book. And then Josserand, like we talked about. So.
Yes, cannot recommend Josserand enough for everyone out there. I think this was our most complicated move this evening, so I figured I'd pull it up what our wonderful operator on multiple different stations, Nick tonight did. Nick could not have done this without you tonight. Much appreciated.
Happy to assist.
Been an absolute superstar. You think you're ready to do this for all 60 miles?
Yeah, I think we probably need to establish more scheduled trains, because I think the amount of extras we run is at compounding things. So I think we might have to think about how to simplify, because we're so used to being able to multitask so much because of the CTC. And what I'm learning from this is that you really have to, because as Mike, you pointed out, you have to compress distances. You don't have that luxury of time to be able to write paperwork in between. So either we have to kind of have more paperwork lined up in advance, or we gotta minimize the train movements so that or just have more things on the schedule so that less has to be defined by the paperwork.
Yeah, definitely something to think about moving forward with how we run the railroad. But yeah, just wanted to show you guys the absolute insane train order Nick wrote. So we're running engine 40 Bryson to East Whittier. They're going to hold the main and meet extra 142 at Ella. Extra 142 is running Whittier to Bryson. Take the siding and meet extra 40 at Ella.
Yeah.
So that's that was our
pretty
most
good to me.
That was kind of our most complicated move.
Yeah. But that should work. Those, the forms, you've got a couple different train order forms on there, formats on there. You've got the extra, and then you've got the meat order. So, yeah. Oh, and to answer the question, I saw some people answered it. What is a train in the?
Oh yes.
In the chat here, the other chat. I think Gurar, I think he came closest. Everybody was pretty close, but the actual definition out of Josserand on my page 7 here, a train is an engine or more than one engine coupled with or without cars displaying markers. So the key is displaying markers.
Yep.
once a train gets its authority, a clearance card, or if it's an extra, the order establishing it as an extra, then it can hang markers. Once it hangs the markers, then it becomes a train by definition. Other than if it doesn't have markers, then it's just an engine with a cut of cars. It has no authority at all to occupy the main track. So yeah,
that is to this day that is the definition in NORAC. So
okay.
It has not changed in 100 and however many years.
120 years, yeah.
Do I have? Are we doing something with 141? Because I heard them call a moment ago.
I got them moving already.
Where are they moving to?
Coming down from Alarka.
Okay, where roughly? All right, I gotta look up where they are.
I gotta look up where they are. Cause so
this
much
is
has
extra
gone on.
141. We just passed Cochrane.
Okay. All right.
So as you're writing up their order and I guess stopping them at Hemingway, I think it is it's 9:42. We're well past our usual amount of time. It is sadly time for us to head off for the evening. Cause at this point it's just doing more of this and moving the railroad. So really hope you guys enjoyed Timetable and Train Order operations. It's a lot of fun. Nick and I are going to be attempting this, or maybe Nick may be running a train next time. But we're going to be attempting this again in April for our, and Nick, can you believe it, 2-year anniversary stream of running the VRA?
That's crazy.
So we're going to be attempting to do this again in April for the 2-year anniversary stream. All of the channel subscribers are going to be invited to come out and run trains for that one and participate in this absolute insanity. I expect it to be crazy and hectic and everything you would get from a real railroad, all in the virtual sense.
Real quick.
So that's coming. Yes.
Could Extra 40 give me a call when they pass Governor's Island?
Sure.
'Cause I'm trying to sneak my car out.
Yep. So that's coming up. So Mike, thank you so much for tonight. This was so much fun, incredibly educational. Incredibly educational. I had a great time. I learned a lot. It's interesting coming at it from the dispatcher perspective as opposed to the operator perspective. Cause I've gotten 19s as an engineer, as a fireman, as a brakeman. I've gotten those. I know what to do from that end. But looking at it from the other end is a really eye-opening experience, and I had a lot of fun with it. So thank you for coming on. I greatly appreciate it tonight.
Oh no, not a problem. Thanks for having me on. It was interesting to see a virtual railroad in operation, and I had a lot of fun. It's a good refresher for me, and it was. I'm always glad to spread the gospel of Timetable and train orders to other people, because I think it is the most fun way to run a model railroad anyway. So hope everybody learned something, and it was my pleasure.
Yeah, and I hope you guys are able to take this out there and use it in your virtual model railroad, your IRL model railroad, and do something fun with it. So thank you for joining us this evening for Timetable and Train Order Dispatching 211. As always, I'm Professor Casey.
And I'm Professor Nick.
And thank you so much, and have a good evening, everyone. Good night.
Good night.